Hello, my name is Iain Neish, and I'm an adaptive phyconomist, a seaweed farmer. Well, I'm pleased to be speaking to MARSAVE 2020 today. Unfortunately, because of COVID-19, I have to send you a video from Bali. Actually, it makes some sense that I speak from Bali, because it was in Bali in the mid-1980s that commercial seaweed farming really got started in Indonesia. So, since I first arrived in Indonesia in 1974, I've spent most of my working life developing seaweed farming with coastal communities. And during most of that time, I've been based either in Makassar or in Bali. So, that said, let's define the issues that are being addressed in this video today. So phyconomy comprises systems of art, science, and technology that are applied to production systems that yield crops of algae. Adaptive phyconomy, for purposes of this presentation, means practical seaweed farming as undertaken in tropical coastal communities. Adaptive phyconomy is undertaken within marine production ecoscapes. These are places where people live and work in the same communities. Production ecoscapes are areas with dynamic mosaics of habitats on land and sea use, where the harmonious interaction between people and nature maintain biodiversity while providing humans with goods and services needed for their livelihood, survival, and well-being. Production ecoscapes are therefore essential components of integrated coastal area management, and adaptive phyconomy has a key role in ecam planning and development. The Indonesian phycosphere is all about seaweeds we grow, where we grow them, and what they are worth. This diagram shows the diverse sources of seaweeds that are farmed in Indonesia. You can pause the video and study this at your convenience. Kappa ficus is the major seaweed crop of Indonesia, and about 50% of that is farmed in Kalimantan Utara. Kappa ficus is generally sold under the trade name of cottony, and its purpose is mainly as raw material for making kappa carrageenan. About a quarter of the Kappa ficus crop and most of the eucuma crop comes from Sulawesi. The rest of Indonesia accounts for the balance of Kappa ficus and eucuma production. Eucuma is sold under the trade name of spinosum, and its main market is as raw material for making iota carrageenan. Indonesia is the world's biggest source of cultivated gracilaria, which is used as a source of agar. Most of it is from South Sulawesi and Central Java. East Indonesia has tremendous opportunities for the development of seaweed farming, but logistic costs have impaired links to value chains from this area. Hellamina and Caulerpa are two genera of seaweeds that are being grown to some extent in Indonesia, and no doubt farming of these seaweeds will expand in the future. So how much seaweed does Indonesia actually produce? Confirmed data are unavailable, but informed estimates place current production volumes in the range of about 300 to 360,000 dry tons per annum. These numbers come from informal industry consensus that we have gained by speaking with our competitors and colleagues. Per official government estimates, however, current production volumes for all types of seaweed from Indonesia are on the order of over 10 million wet tons per annum. This is over 1 million dry tons. So according to industry estimates, total Indonesian seaweed production is on the order of 25 to 30,000 metric tons, that's dry tons, per month. That's enough production to put about $500 million US per annum into the pockets of Indonesian seaweed farmers. That's equivalent to about 7,200 billion rupiah. So we've seen how phyconomy enables farmers to turn sunlight and seawater through seaweeds into money. Adaptive phyconomy of tropical seaweeds is an outstanding example of large-scale crop production developed from simple methods refined by farmers in the sea. Seaweed farming has become an economic mainstay for tens of thousands of people in Indonesian ecoscapes. Most Gracilaria is farmed unattached in ponds like these ones shown in South Sulawesi. But most Indonesian phyconomy applies attached to line methods like this. Planted lines are then placed in open ocean systems for crop cycles that generally run between 4 to 8 weeks. One of the most common systems for outplanting is the long line system. These are used throughout Indonesia and throughout all of the Coral Triangle. Here we see bamboo rafts typical of Sumenep, Madura. There are thousands of such rafts along the coast of Madura, so many that you can see them if you look on Google Earth. And here you can see ladder-style rafts that are typical of the Banyuwangi area in East Java. There's about 4 kilometers of solid rafts in that area. This shot shows seaweeds growing well on the seafloor. This is at our nursery operation in Bali. Tube nets are a phyconomy option that is being developed by C6 Energy. The big advantage of tube nets is that they enable mechanical planting and harvesting for increased productivity. Now some examples of how seaweed farms fit into ICAM coastal ecoscapes. I will start with Geger Beach in Bali, where seaweed farming has been going on since about 1978. This is what it looked like in 2006. For 20 years or more, Geger produced hundreds of dry tons of seaweed every year. Tourism activities and resort development have now almost totally displaced seaweed farming from southern Bali. Perhaps COVID-19 is ushering in a seaweed revival. Meanwhile, the C6 nursery project with Mr. Madi Simbik is one of the few remaining farms in southern Bali outside of Nusa Penida. At Sumenep in Madura, aquaculture, agriculture, and fisheries function in synergy. Phyconomy is practiced in mixed urban and rural ecoscapes, and the result is a robust, sustainable mix of socio-economic activities. Meanwhile, Banyuwangi ecoscapes in East Java function in the midst of about 1.6 million people population. Banyuwangi ecoscapes support thriving agriculture and aquaculture. Banyuwangi ecoscapes also incorporate transport, factories, and tourism into the planning mix. Integrated coastal area management issues are of crucial importance to us because C6 is constantly developing sea combine phyconomy systems and sea corn nucleus farm locations. With respect to site selection choices, we have two classes that we seek, two classes that we try, and one class that we avoid. At some locations, seaweed crops simply cannot be grown for environmental or regulatory reasons. We have to identify such areas with minimal effort and expense. We love it when we can put projects at places where farming is proven and active, preferably with year-round production rather than seasonal production. Of course, this means forming collaborations with local players. Our special opportunities lie in areas where farming has never been tried as far as we know, and is adjacent to Class A areas. Of course, in remote areas, we're taking a big gamble because we have no idea how seaweed is going to grow until we invest considerable resources. In Class C areas, farming has failed due to people issues. These are good opportunities for us if the cause is value chain issues, because we can go in there, commence collaboration with local people, and get farming going right away. In many areas, unfortunately, toxic social issues prevent seaweed farming entirely. These can be zoning issues, or they can be simple issues of people not wanting seaweed farming around. Finally, we have areas where farming failed for unknown reasons. In such cases, we simply have to find out whether we have solutions to the problems or not. The following 3 slides highlight the significance of seaweeds and other sea plants to integrated coastal area management in Indonesia. The slides are rather complex, so you may want to pause this video or save screenshots so you can study them at your convenience. In this map, green shading indicates substantial seaweed farming, yellow shading indicates generally failed seaweed farming, white shading indicates lack of known seaweed farming, and red indicates prohibitions on seaweed farming. Indonesia is the world's premier archipelagic state. Indonesia has upwards of 60% of global tropical coastline. Sea plants are ubiquitous along all Indonesian coastlines, and sea plants are the coastal primary production foundation. This matrix summarizes sea plant ecological services. Such services are important to understand during coastal planning. Provisioning services provide us with goods that we need. Regulating services are a basis for marine ecosystems. They also provide us with oxygen to breathe, and they fix carbon. Cultural services support our days at the beach and our diving fun. But be aware of disservices like beach fouling and red tides. This is a schematic diagram of integrated aquaculture. This can be expanded to include terrestrial agriculture. Sea plants are a crucial component of all production systems. Coastal aquaculture integrates into managed coastal habitat. Outstanding examples include mangrove forests and seagrass beds. Metabolites, energy, and nutrients cycle within the system. They also blend into water flowing through the system. Photosynthesizing sea plants are the foundation for these systems. So I will conclude this video by showing some drone shots of the ecoscape that is our home base. This is Desa Patas in northern Bali, where our factory is located only a few hundred meters from the beach. Our factory is surrounded by prawn ponds, and in adjacent inshore waters there are pearl oyster farms, seaweed farms, and fish cages. This area also provides anchorage for our sea combine vessel, and many local fishing boats are also in the vicinity. Onshore, C6 probiotics are used for prawn food and livestock. We make biostimulants for all plant crops. And in our factory, we provide dozens of jobs and buy seaweed from hundreds of seaweed farmers. So you see that fitting in with integrated coastal area management is a matter of extreme importance to C6 Energy. One of the most rewarding aspects of our work is that we're able to form working relationships, collaborations with people throughout Indonesian marine ecoscape communities. We hope and trust that MARSAVE 2020 has been a concrete step toward the integration of seaweed farming, processing, and utilization into the fabric of Indonesian coastal life. Thank you.